Morning, guys. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Trainer. Up early in the morning again. Snow all over the hills. Kind of cool. I don't know if you can see that or not. Snowed last week and gave us a little bit of snow and was gone within a day. We're just below snow line. But Wrightwood's got snow, and don't know how open things are, but a lot of people come up and just grab their snowboards and find a spot and go. Family. So it's been kind of busy up here in the high desert, snow country. This morning, as I'm going on my way to do some bite work with my police scenario group that I go to on Saturdays, I wanted to talk about the little reactive bitch that I got back. And been working her real heavy, and I gave myself 90 days is what I figured, and I think we're on the first month now, so she's doing real well. We'll kind of overview what I've done with her. So I got her going with her behavior loops and teach her markers at home, and then started getting her working with that, and then started going out to Tractor Supply. And you remember me talking about anchors all the time, right? These are mental anchors. So I've got her really receptive to Tractor Supply. She knows where she's going, and she's got a happy attitude about it. I've let her jump up on the food piles, all the bags they've got stacked all over the store, and anything that they've got stacked in that store, I let her kind of jump up on it. She feels she's high on herself, you know. She's confident because she's up higher than other people, and she's able to watch them walking by the aisles. And it's a good thing. So we did that first. And the thing I want to accent this morning with this is that as I'm doing the confidence building with agility at home, I'm doing sack work on a pole, so I'm doing back work. This is all stuff that is in her genetic makeup, right? And she's going out and biting that. So she's getting some physical and getting physical with me within this play that's orientated towards the bite work. And it's one of the things that I put into it, the agility at home, getting confident with herself, routine, pattern. And then I've got one anchor that's in public, that's the Tractor Supply, that you're going out with people. And what her big thing was that anybody she saw, when she first saw it, she'd light up on. And now she's become to the point where she's accepting people walking by her. And her wild-eyed look, you know, that look they give, you know, that wild-eyed look is starting to diminish, starting to fall. But there's a certain point that you establish these patterns and these things that she's secure with it, and you use them to build confidence. And then you have to do what I call stretching the dog, because if you don't stretch, what it boils down to is it's kind of like lifting weights. When you go out to lose weight, and you go out and you haven't been on a diet, and you've been lazy and laying on the couch, and you've gained all this weight, and you say, man, I got to get off my butt, and I got to go out and start losing weight. When you first go to the gym and you change your diet, and you start doing exercise that's going to burn some calories, you drop a few pounds that first week or two, right? 3 weeks, whatever it may be. And then your body will catch up with the stress that you're putting on it, and it'll plateau, right? And then you stop losing weight, and you're wondering, what's going on here? I was losing a lot of weight, and now I'm not losing any weight anymore. It's a natural thing. And it's a plateau that you hit, and you're not going to start dropping any other weight until you start doing something that stresses the body out, meaning either with diet or with exercise, even better. And you really got to push harder, right? And get something that stresses that body out to a point where now, boom, it'll get through that plateau, and it'll go, boom, I got to do and deal with the stress, and you'll start dropping weight again. Well, those plateaus are the same mentally, right? That dog will not grow unless you push it and you start to challenge the dog mentally and stretch the dog, right? And it's an art. You've got to do it just enough that you don't over-stress the dog where now you're creating more fear, but you've got to do it just enough that they start to get through that plateau that's no longer comfortable, right? And push on them again and get them through that next plateau. So that's what I call stretching. So right now, what I did last week is I realized we were at this point where I don't want to leave her sitting in the same comfortable zone anymore. I've got to stretch the dog. And I go down to Home Depot after I went to Tractor Supply. So I went to Secure Spot first, Tractor Supply, did the same routine that she's gotten comfortable with and she's grown some confidence with. And then I added going to Home Depot. She's never been there. It's a bigger store. It's a different environment. Other things to jump on, wood piles, going up ladders, and it's just a different environment. So that's going to mentally get the dog a little bit stressed out again, right? And we push through that plateau. We get that to be comfortable. We grow her there. We get her to grow mentally so that she ends up being confident with that new location. And at the same time, now we're going to start adding other locations within this that we start saying this is a new place, new things that we're doing, new pressures on you, right? So the rules are still the same. We still need to do a lot of saturation with public, but we don't want to blow her out of the water, and we don't want to have things that are negative that are going to set in her little brain and cause you to have to, we've got to back up and we've got to come at it again and repair something that you've overwhelmed her with. So it's an art, right? You got to do it just enough. You've got to move that pendulum just enough that she goes through the stressors and you're pushing on the dog. You're stretching the dog, right? So that's kind of it in a nutshell with an overview of where she's at. Hopefully next week I'll get my good friend Hajir to come up and he'll film me again and we'll see how much better she's doing. And you guys can hopefully see this, how she's growing, how she's getting better. And some of the things that I'm doing, again, agility, that's confidence with her body. Bite work at home where I'm doing pole work, where I'm the one that's the decoy and I'm slapping in the mouth, which is great for any dog that you build anyway. It doesn't matter that the dog's reactive or not. But these are confidence building. I'm getting physical with her, right? And I'm letting her win and we're having this. That's going to build the dog. It's confidence. When we go out in public, she'll start to get a little cocky and tough, right? Now the thing is, you don't want her to go towards toughness where she's showing aggression. You want her to go towards toughness where she's staying balanced and not reacting to this environment that she was reacting to before. That's why corrections are important. There's rules here. She's not allowed to show this behavior, and I do use corrections. But it's a balance, right? I get her away from what's stressing her out, get her back into that behavior loop of coming back into me. And another thing that I'm doing, that I'm going to do more of, is I started nose work with her. With Hajir's help, I'm letting him handle the back, and I'm doing the front with the animal, right? One's called the handler, and one's called the trainer when you do nose work. So the nose work has something in it that makes the dog get busy. It puts the dog's head in a totally different space to where they're really getting exhausted mentally and physically, and you're giving them a job to do. So I kind of just sensed that and said this would be a good thing to put into the mix and trying to get her over her little problems, right? Give her a job. Give the dog a job. Real important. When the dog starts to have a job and go towards its base instincts of using its nose, it's getting tired out mentally and physically, because nose work is very tiring to an animal, believe it or not. It helps, right? I'm also getting into the subject of Nipopo, but I won't be doing that with her. But there's some things that Bart uses that could be put into the mix. And one of those things is called the dopamine box, where they have a box that's big enough for the dog to kind of put his 2 front feet into, so it's kind of over its shoulders, and get into the box and you start dropping food, keeping its head down. And it's a dopamine dump. And somebody suggested me using that to put into the mix. And I think that's probably similar with the nose work, because the nose work's being done with food, right? And it'll go into toys, or she'll get an explosion release when she goes in and gives her indication. She does the right thing, and then boom, she'll get a reward. So that dopamine dump could be used similar to giving her something else to put into the mix to help with this, right? And it's interesting how that stuff works. I want to get more into the concept of the box, Bart Ballone's dopamine box, and get into more of that concept, because a lot of these chemicals that go on in the mind and the brain, with which are dopamine and other things, these other emotional states of mind that you're creating when you're creating these patterns and obedience and everything, and in your build and how you're getting the dog to be drivey and all this stuff that you're working on, that emotional states of mind are helpful in using in this instance, right? And we'll get more into that as I go along, because I'm going to be digging into this concept and seeing how I can apply it with the reactivity. And I've seen the box work, and I kind of haven't totally wrapped my mind around how I can use it in a lot of different instances, but I sense that it's a tool that I can use in a lot of different areas, right? And I just want to dig into the subject more. So that means I've got to get together with some of the other trainers that I respect Ted Bellmeyer is a damn good trainer, and I'll go over and pick his brain and get into this whole concept of need-po-po. I need myself. I've told you before, we all live with blinders. So when I'm doing something, I'm into my little groove, and I may not see something that somebody else may see. So it's good to have a spotter, somebody that's on the outside of that fishbowl, to be able to give you some perspective. Even like right now, I went out and was doing with Buddy. I started on the need-po-po type of work and pairing it with the sticks, which means pairing the stimulation with the sticks. And that's something that is done in need-po-po. And I started that yesterday with Buddy. So I'm going to be getting more into these hardwired concepts. They're basically concepts within the dog's mental makeup, hardwired makeup that you're using, that are very well-known concepts, but not really pushed to those limits that need-po-po does. And it's an art. It's another level up on understanding how to build and shape behaviors as a trainer, right? We do this stuff all the time. There's all kinds of little tricks we use for problem beat dogs or things that come at us. But when you get into this need-po-po, you're going up a whole nother level, because you're dealing with pressure that's being put on the dog that is being used in such a way that you're reaching down deep into the dog's real instinctual type of hardwiring when you're conditioning these behaviors. All right? We'll go into it more as I dig into it more. The thing with the need-po-po, Bart's done a great job of kind of keeping it just enough knowledge that's out there in the YouTube videos, but not enough that you can really understand the concept. To really understand the concept, you're going to have to go do his course. And it's great marketing, it's good stuff, but at the same time, it's expensive. It's real expensive. He's got a gold and a silver, and you got to be there for over. So you're talking travel, you're talking the cost of living for that time that you're there doing the courses. And then you're talking the money that goes out to him. That's a pretty good penny for his courses. Is it worth it? In my world it is, because that's what I do. That's my bread and butter. The better I can become as a trainer and harness some of these concepts that I can apply in producing a product, the better trainer I'm going to be, and the more money I'm going to make, right? So that's what it's all about. And it's what makes me tick. That's that passion we're always talking about. All right, so now I've been yakking at the screen and I went the wrong way. So now I got to figure out how to get back to where I need to go. Talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Bye-bye.